Hello everybody, my name is Davis and welcome back to another video, and today we're here for another severe weather breakdown. Now we've got a hurricane out in the ocean, obviously. We've got a lot of severe storms incoming today. We've got some flash flooding possible, so we're going to break it down for you today accurately and as helpful as possible. So let's go and get right into it. Starting off with the SPC outlook for today, we have a slight risk of severe weather here in west central Texas. This has been a reoccurring theme for the past few days. And then we have a marginal risk over here in east central Florida as Hurricane Lee kind of scrapes the edge here. So let's go and break down the threats that this brings. Starting off with the tornado threat for today, we do have a 2% risk of a tornado here near Lubbock and Abilene in that region there, as well as really Midland. Honestly, if I were drawing a circle, I'd probably put Midland in there because these storms tonight are going to cause a lot of rotation to pop up in areas like this. So look out for a tornado potentially tonight. Probably get 1 or 2 tornado warnings at some point. Wind threat, we have a 15% hatched risk of wind gusts. So here's what this means. If you're in the circle with the yellow, so like in the line circle and you're in the yellow, you have a 15% chance to see wind gusts of 75 miles per hour or higher. Those will be extremely damaging. So if you are in this yellow with the line circle here, then you need to be focusing on this tonight. So mainly Midland, Texas is the only city in here. Yellow, if you're not in the line circle, that's still a 15% chance to see wind gusts of 60 miles an hour or higher, but that's not nearly as bad. And then over here in east central Florida, we have a 5% risk to see wind gusts of 60 miles an hour or higher. So look out for that. Moving on to the hail threat, we also have a 15% hatched risk of hail. This one's a little bit further up to the north. So if you're in the yellow with the line circles thingy, then you have a 15% chance to see hail of 2 inches or larger. For the past couple nights, we've been seeing baseball-sized hail fall in some of these regions, and it's not going to stop here in the southern plains. So Lubbock and Abilene especially, you have a 15% chance to see hail of 2 inches or larger tonight. So look out. If you're in the yellow without being in the line circle, that's still a 15% chance for hail of 1 inch or larger, so still look out for that, but it's not nearly as high of a threat. So let's go ahead and move on to the window destruction meter. Now today on the window destruction meter, we are for the first time ever going to be at a high risk of window destruction today. So if I can go ahead and pull this up here, for some reason it's not wanting to load. Okay, that's kind of annoying. There we go. Okay, so window destruction meter here. As you can see, we're on a high risk of window destruction. This is the first time I've ever put us on here. We're not in an extreme risk, but because we have a hatched risk for hail, wind, and we have a tornado threat, those 3 factors combined obviously are going to be a pretty big threat to your windows. So especially for like west central Texas, high risk of window destruction tonight. This is not a moderate risk, but it's also not an extreme risk. This is a high risk. Look out. You could definitely see some windows destroyed tonight, so look out for that. Moving on to the SPC outlook for tomorrow, we already have a marginal risk of severe weather here down in southwestern Arizona. This does include Phoenix. Tornado threat for tomorrow, very low, but will probably get upgraded. Wind threat, we do have a 5% risk of wind gusts of 60 miles an hour or higher, and that's what's driving our marginal risk down there, so look out. Hail threat, we do have a hail threat tomorrow, but it is very isolated. It includes the western bit of Phoenix there, as well as Peoria, Arizona, Avondale, Arizona, Surprise, Arizona, Goodyear, Arizona, and Sun City, Arizona. Those are just some big cities in that region there, so look out for that. Going all the way into Wednesday here, we already have 2 more marginal risks. One's up here in the New England region, and then one is down here in the desert southwest kind of, or I guess more of like the Four Corner states, south central U.S. So look out for that. We already have marginal risk there, and that's probably going to get upgraded to a slight risk at some point since it's still 3 days out. Excessive rainfall outlook, we have 2 slight risks of flash flooding today. We have one here that includes New York, Hartford, Providence, Boston, Concord, and even all the way up to Augusta here. So that's a 15% chance to see flash flooding. Down here, we have another risk in central Texas here. We're going to get a lot of rainfall with the storms that are falling, and this does include the very, very, very eastern bit of Midland, Texas, as well as Abilene, Texas, San Angelo, Texas, Big Spring, Texas, Snyder, Texas, and more. So look out for that. Moving on to tomorrow, we already have another slight risk of flash flooding here. It's a bit more over to the west here with the Four Corner States. This does include Santa Fe, Albuquerque, and a bunch of forests down here in this region as well in New Mexico and Arizona, so look out for that. This does extend up into southwestern Colorado as well. Going all the way into Wednesday, we already have 2 more slight risks of flash flooding. One is up here in the northeast with Hartford, New York, Albany, Concord, Montpelier, so look out for that in that region. But also down here, we have one in Lubbock, or in Texas rather, that includes Lubbock, Amarillo, and probably very northern bits of Midland, Texas. It's kind of in the same area as the other one. So going all the way into Thursday, we already have 2 more slight risks of flash flooding. This is ridiculous. One is over here in northeastern Texas, southwestern Oklahoma. This does include DFW as well as Amarillo, and not quite all the way over to Oklahoma City, but almost. Lawton, Oklahoma, Wichita Falls, Denton, Plano, Arlington, all the cities around DFW. So look out for that. And then we also had one over here in Wyoming, actually, which is a little surprising to me if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, Cheyenne, Wyoming especially. Luckily, Wyoming is not very populated overall, so it's not that big of a deal, but still, look out. Going into Friday, we already have a marginal risk of flash flooding, which is something. Don't act like that's nothing just because it's a 5% risk of flash flooding. This goes all the way down to DFW, all the way back up through Cheyenne, Wyoming. So all the regions in there, look out for some potential flash flooding, as this will most likely get upgraded towards the end of the week since this is for Friday. National Hurricane Center, we have Hurricane Lee, obviously, very dangerous, is actually going to scrape the Bermuda here pretty soon. But more importantly, it is going to make landfall up here in Nova Scotia, most likely. So, like, as well as Maine, Rhode Island, I can't speak, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Vermont, all these states up here in the New England region, you all need to look out because Hurricane Lee is probably going to be here some point within the next couple weeks. So definitely look out for that. Hurricane Lee is most likely to make impact as a Category 1 hurricane or just a tropical storm. But a tropical storm is still pretty dangerous, so look out for that. And like I said, it's gonna hit Bermuda as like a Cat 1 or a Cat 2 hurricane even, possibly, so look out for that. Hurricane Margot, this is now officially a hurricane, but this is just expected to be kind of a fish storm out here, just kind of sitting here, not really moving at all, just kind of chilling as a Cat 1. And then we have a disturbance here that has a 60% chance to form the next 7 days, and this looks like it could take a similar path to Lee, kind of, just from a different area. So it might honestly go up towards the northeast, or it could head towards the southeast. We really don't know yet since it hasn't formed, but it is likely to form. So we need to be looking out on high alert for this, especially since this could definitely turn into a big hurricane. This is one of the higher waves that we had for a disturbance for a while. This disturbance, 10% chance to form the next 7 days, 10% chance to form the next 48 hours. No concern at all there. Even if it does form, which it's most likely not going to, it's just going to be a fish storm. So no reason to worry about that. Eastern Pacific, all good. Central Pacific, all good. So yeah, that's it for, that's Climate Prediction Center here. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. Okay, well, here, we can go through it to, like, this. Like, here. There we go. Come on, load. All right, 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. That is September 17th to the 21st. We have above average temperatures likely here, especially in, like, central Montana. You have a 70 to 80% chance to see above average temperatures, so unfortunately, it's looking like you guys are going to get a late start to fall, get more of this extreme southern heat up here that hasn't really impacted you guys too badly this summer, but I mean, it's about to. You're going to get one last big heat wave before fall starts up here. Below average temperature is likely here for the southeast into the Ohio Valley. But I don't even want to say below average temperatures are likely. They're just possible in this region. And this cool dome is what we are using to kind of push Hurricane Lee out to the ocean and stop it from making impact in the Carolinas or the Virginias or even Georgia. So this cold dome, it did save us, and it's about to deconstruct here. But it's going to stay with us until September 17th, it's looking like, and it is going to push Hurricane Lee out to sea. So thank you, cold dome. You will never be forgotten. even though you probably will. The desert southwest here, specifically southwestern California, below average temperatures are possible, 40 to 50% chance to see that here, but you guys have had a brutal summer, so nobody's complaining about that, I'm sure. 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook. Man, I do not like this layout. This is why I didn't mean to open this. Okay, 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook. We have drought conditions likely here for the upper western Midwest as well as the southeast kind of here. This cold dome did bring some below average temperatures here in this region, and the heat dome up here brought some, below average precipitation rather, sorry, and then the heat dome brought some below average precipitation up here as well. But northeast, as you can see, we have a very likely chance to see above average precipitation here, a 50 to 60% chance, and I'm sure you can guess why. That's right, it's because of Hurricane Lee. So mainly in eastern Maine, look out for some far above average precipitation that will almost certainly lead to flash flooding somewhere in the U.S. Whenever Hurricane Lee does make landfall. So look out for that. Not much else to talk on there. Here, can we do this? Can we click on that? There we go. Now we're back to normal. 8 to 14 day outlook. That's September 29th, I'm an idiot. September 19th to the 25th. Average temperatures are likely. The cool dome, I mean, it looks like it's gone, but it's preventing us from having above average heat like the rest of the U.S. here in this small region. So you guys are going to see normal temperatures most likely have falled again at a regular time. But for most of the U.S., man, it's going to be brutally hot. Our heat dome moves off to the east here, enters the upper western Midwest here, and really affects the rest of the country as well. It is going to be hot. Once again, we're going to have one last big heat wave before fall officially starts, like I said. And then below average temperatures are really starting to get likely here down in the desert southwest. So good for you guys, because you guys have had like the hottest summer on record almost. So yeah, that's definitely good for you. 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook. We do have below average precipitation likely here for the upper eastern Midwest, as well as really the rest of the Midwest, Ohio Valley region as well, down into the deep south. And then above average precipitation is still kind of likely up here in the northeast. It depends on when Hurricane Lee makes landfall. It depends on how slowly it goes. So, you know, somewhere around the 18th or the 19th, we're expecting it to make landfall. So look out here for some above average precipitation still possible. And then over here in the western U.S., we have a chance to see above average temperature, or above average precipitation. So that's pretty cool. Honestly, some areas like North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota, it's not going to be because we have above average temperatures right now in this region, but if it wasn't, then, and it was a bit colder than it usually is at this time around, I mean, snow. The precipitation might honestly be snow at this point, because it is going out to the 25th of September. I guess that would still be pretty early, even for that region, but yeah, it's not going to happen anyway, since it's going to be brutally hot up here, but yeah, I just thought it was something cool to point out that we are getting to the point where snow is starting to become possible in some regions. Kind of. We're not there yet, but we're almost there, you know? We're still pretty far out. I just wanted to think positively. Finally, watches, warnings, advisories, severe thunderstorm warnings in effect right now in eastern South Carolina right now. Look out for that, as well as some areas in the panhandle of Texas here. So look out for that. Air quality alerts in the grays are in effect for parts of southern Texas. Flood watches for the northeast here, including the entire state of Rhode Island, actually. Or does it? I'm not sure. It's kind of hard to see whenever they're that tiny. But other than that, not much going on. If you're wondering what the light blues are, those are beach hazard statements. So some high waves here in the upper Midwest here. So look out for that. But other than that, pretty calm as of right now. But tonight is when it's supposed to start ramping up. And this whole region in here, down in the south central U.S. that I'm kind of circling here, is going to see some pretty crazy storms tonight that will pack a huge punch. So look out. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys did enjoy, then make sure to like and subscribe. This is a longer video, but I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.